My friend Raul Aguirre, we were out for dinner in Buenos Aires, and he said, if someone followed your life and took 24 hours of film of everything you do for a day, and they edited that into a 1-hour documentary, the editor could decide to make you look like the worst villain ever or the greatest hero ever, depending on which parts of your day he put into the documentary. Hey, it's Conor here in Montevideo, spending a week between Argentina and Uruguay, teaching this week at the University of Montevideo at the IEEM Business School on leadership. Always wonderful to travel, to come to another part of the world, to see how people live. Sunday I've been in the Mercado del Puerto, spectacular spot for eating steak. Argentina and Uruguay are well known for their beef, for the red meat. And cycling around the Ramblas of Montevideo. Montevideo is here. It looks to me like it's on the sea, but here they call it the Rio de la Plata, the river of silver, the river that divides Montevideo, Uruguay from Argentina on the south side of the river. But it's a river that's probably more than 50 miles wide. Now, this week's video, I'd actually put the video together over in Buenos Aires yesterday on a beautiful spot by a lake. But I did it with my iPhone and the sound is terrible, the wind. But I know that within myself I am enough. Very good, and there's nothing I can do with Adobe Audible or Final Cut Pro that is going to fix the sound. So here I am in my hotel room Sunday night to remake the clip. And what I was sharing yesterday was the paradox between two modes of being that I think are vitally important to live a fulfilling human life. And the two modes of being, one is intentional living, and the second is unconditional peace of mind. So, intentional living, being goal-directed, having a plan for your life, having goals that you're aiming towards, having dreams. And to me, one reason I carry this notebook around with me all the time is to keep notes of what I want to do, where I want to achieve, and have pages that remind me of what I'm trying to achieve with my life, what I'm trying to contribute to society, what I'm trying to learn, where I'm curious. And I think those goals get you up off the sofa and into the world interacting with others and learning. So I do believe you need goals and you need dreams to get out into the world and live in a way that you engage openly with the world, but also that you're able to make sacrifices. And I believe meaning in life comes from the chosen sacrifice. The chosen sacrifice is effort that you decide to give because it's important, and it requires discipline. It's choosing to suffer now. In the words of Jim Rohn, the choice of two sufferings: suffering now, the pain of discipline, or way later in life, suffering the pain of regret. And I think you need goals. You need to work at having the goals and work at keeping a sense of your dreams and why you're here in order to find the motivation to have discipline. But at the same time, if you're always anxious and stressed and aware of how little you're moving forward on your goals, it's a horrible feeling inside, a feeling of anxiety, of not being good enough. So unconditional peace of mind is the ability to feel that no matter what happens, I am enough. That the universe would not give me a problem if I did not have the resources necessary to overcome that problem. I may not be aware of them in my life. I may need to search for them, but this belief that I am enough, that there's nothing that requires something bigger than I am. So if I'm present and I deal with the problems, I will always be enough. And I think these two ways of being, one allows you to create things in life and contribute to society, and the other means that internally you are enjoying the process of living. You're not ground up in anxiety and pain and suffering. And I think I've gone way out of balance over the last month. Very much focused on the goals and what I needed to achieve, particularly in business. Very aware of how undisciplined I was being and how many nights I hadn't achieved what I intended in the day, and other problems in the past were starting to come up. And I wasn't sleeping well. And I think it all came to a head about a week ago, and I really realized I need to get back to being able to let go each afternoon of all the things I know I should have done, and just be okay that what I've done is what I've done. And keep this balance of having the goals, having the dreams, working at remembering why those dreams are important, not losing myself in the day-to-day hitting of the numbers, but connecting to the bigger reason why. But at the same time, regularly reminding myself that I am enough, that if I'm just here and present. And unconditional peace of mind is that my peace of mind is not conditional on achievement, is not conditional on being a good or a bad person. It's unconditional. With others, sometimes we see the best of them and we see the worst in ourselves. We remember the best in others and remember that 1 hour of terrible footage where I really look like a villain. And I realize that, I've been, if I was the editor of my day, when I'm replaying the movie and editing the clips that I'm playing to myself are the clips where I've let myself down, not the clips where I'm grateful, not the clips where I have been disciplined, not the clips where I have been the best version of myself. And I think I realized over the last week a real need to just stop this frantic anxiety and regain balance between these two areas of definitely being goal-directed, definitely remembering that each day that there's a purpose to why I go away from my family and my daughters and travel, but at the same time, unconditional peace of mind, finding a state of well-being that is not conditional upon achieving something, gaining something, a number in a bank account, whether I did my exercise, whether I ate right. It's unconnected to external states. So that's the thought for this week, and I don't really have an answer. The way I find balance is really by stopping each morning, each evening, writing down, being aware of the state I'm in, being aware when I really start to feel anxiety and tension, and not let it ruin the relationship I have with people around me, and not let it become a source of, because I so whip myself with how I've not done what I intended to do, I become even less disciplined. Because if you can't forgive yourself, you become even worse. So there's the paradox. If you've come up with a way of setting goals and working towards those goals, but forgiving yourself and having a sense of peace of mind as you move along the journey, I'd love to know how you combine those two. And I think to just have unconditional peace of mind, I think, is a selfish approach to life. I think it is necessary that each of us contribute in the way that we can to society. On the other side, to just have goal-directed living, just have a life that is made up of achieving goals, maybe you do serve society, but you have a hellish experience of life. And I think that's not a way of living. So you need external success and internal success. Goal-directed could lead to entirely external success with inner turmoil. Unconditional peace of mind without goals would lead to inner feeling of well-being, but nothing around you having benefited from your time here. And I think these two things need to be combined in order to consider that you've lived this life well. I think it sounded much better the first time when I was speaking halfway around the run in Buenos Aires, but there's some thinking. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts, your reflections, how you deal with the paradox between these two modes of being. Have a great one. You ever seen an eclipse? Boom! Eclipsed by my head of the sun. Impressive. Eclipse. And boom! And enjoying the beginning of spring. Hope you're having a great week. Comments, questions, likes, sharing. And if you subscribe, hit that little bell so you make sure you get these little episodes every Tuesday. Thank you for subscribing. All the very best.